Hey, it's Pallavi Kashyap. Welcome to the podcast. Hello and welcome, my lovely listeners. Today, I have a special guest from Poland. Her name is Kasia Rutkowiak. And
Perfect.
thank you so much. I had so much practice before saying this name. So, Kasia is joining me from Poland. She is a life and a success coach. She specializes in a few of these techniques, namely NLP, time techniques, EFT, hypnotherapy. Her passion is to create happiness from the inside out, regardless of anybody's past mistakes or external circumstances. She says her path to becoming a coach and hypnotherapist was long and a bit unusual. So, we are going to listen to this story today. She has her own private practice as a coach, mentor, hypnotherapist, and she's also the founder of Magnetic Confidence Academy. She helps women from all around the world to create long lasting positive changes in their lives by shifting subconscious beliefs, rewriting detrimental stories, and stepping into the identity of the women they want to be easily and unapologetically. Thank you so much, Cassia, for giving us this time and coming to speak to us and share your stories. So, welcome once again to Energize Lifestyle Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So, the first question I ask all my guests is like, you are a mother, you are a wife, you're an entrepreneur, you have your own business, and it's like, wearing several hats. So if I ask you to choose one out of all of these, so what would that be? That's like your passion, that's the most favorite thing, and you feel like doing that, forever.
That's a great question. And I suppose you have more of these, right? Well, my favorite thing to do is be myself. And I believe that we so many times we convince ourselves that we have to choose. And I don't believe that anymore. I used to be that person that would think of all the things that I have to do, I'm supposed to do as separate compartments of my life until I realized that I can pick whichever compartment I want anytime I want and just be that. And that gives you such an amazing freedom. I wouldn't want to choose if it's being mother, the perfect thing for me to do in the entire world. Do I love my children? Yes, more than my life. Yeah. But I love also other aspects of who I am. I love the woman that I am, and I love my husband. Luckily, the third time for the third time married, I can do that with everything that it brings. That I'm happily married, and I love this aspect of my life. I absolutely love the business aspect of my life and doing what I do. And I wouldn't want to be without any of that. And this is also something that I am showing and teaching to my amazing clients who so many times they think they have to choose. And they also are worried of the judgment that it's going to follow after that. Like, what are people going to say? What if I'm going to disappoint someone? Without realizing that, what if you don't have to choose? What if I believe in choice. Don't get me wrong. I do believe in choice in life, and having the opportunity, the possibility to choose how you want to live your life is more empowering than anything. But for me, choosing is deciding what I want and following that, but not choosing in between this or that. If I want both, I'll take both. And that feels amazing. This is also something I had to learn the hard way.
So it's lovely. It's a different perspective. In fact, you're a different guest in choosing. In fact, all of my guests, at least they pick up something, like, oh, this is the most favorite thing that I want to do, or so. But you have shown a different side, and Even, what you say is equally right. There's no right or a wrong answer, but it's good and it's nice to hear different people and, their perspectives. So yeah, I loved your answer very much as well. Coming to, you said you want to help women and you've been helping women through your coaching practices, through your services, but many a times what we do is always driven by some reason. So why is it that you want to specifically help women, and specifically, you said, I want them to be themselves and share their stories irrespective of any of the mistakes they've made in the past. So brief us something on that.
Oh, how much time do we have?
Oh, we can go on as many hours as you want.
All right. Great. I specifically, intentionally chose to work with women, and also women, preferably women in the 40s and beyond. And when I say that I want to help them create a truly fulfilling and meaningful life, that when they wake up in the morning, they open their eyes and they think like, heck, I love my life. They wake up, they go to the mirror and they say, I love myself. I love what I do. I love where I am. I love what I'm creating. And not because it's perfect, but because it's mine and authentic, and the way that is aligned with my values and what I believe and how I have dreamed, this life to unfold, to create. And I do that because I was living in a lie for several years. You see, I escaped, in a way, a mentally abusive marriage at the age of 26. The situation was also specific, like every situation is specific because it's yours, right? Very particular situation. So it's very special to you. But I moved away from my home country, and because my fiancé that at that time and future first husband, he was from Denmark, and we decided that, taking into consideration what we both do, and at that time I was almost finished with my studies as a veterinarian.
Okay.
It was a better idea. He was a policeman. That was a better idea for me to move there than for him to move to a different country. It's difficult to be a policeman in a different country. So I moved there, and so I was living in a different country where all the friends that I acquired were somehow friends of his, or some people that I met through him. And there I was, 26. I had my job, great job that I loved, but I found myself very much afraid of him and what might happen. I didn't want to come home, even though I could, but I wanted this to be my decision. I remember telling myself, if I ever will come home, back to my country where I live right now, I will only do this because this is what I want, and not because life forces me to do that. Okay. So I decided to stay, but still I was afraid that marriage was not pleasant. And so what happened for me is that I fell. I didn't fall for it, but
sorry to interrupt. Afraid of what did you say?
Well, I was afraid to. I was afraid of him. So I wanted security. Okay. I wanted like a normal life. I wanted family more than anything else. Okay. And so I got involved with a guy that did bring me the safety. He's a great guy, but he's not the guy. He was not the guy for me. And I knew that. And because of that, because this was not the man for me, I entered the relationship for all the wrong reasons. Not that safety is a wrong reason, but if there is safety and not really any mental connection, then you cannot really, you can live like this, but it was difficult for me. And I was dying. I was dying inside. I had at some point, we had 3 amazing, lovely children, in-house nanny. I had a great job that I loved, and I couldn't I didn't like my life. I didn't like myself. I hated myself. I was hating the mother that I was because I was not happy. And because I fell in love with someone else, outside of the marriage,
Mm.
I decided to live in a lie and to pretend that everything is okay while I was secretly hoping that my life would be different, but then convincing myself that it's not going to be possible. And because I didn't believe that it was possible, I would live in this vicious circle. And so because I was at some point able to break out of that, this is now what I want to do, because my situation in many ways was real bad, and I was doing bad things that I absolutely am not proud of. I do believe that lying is not a great thing to do in life, and especially when you do it repetitively for years to everybody, right? But I also know that what I was telling myself at that time that made me lie was the fear of being me, was the fear also of what people are going to say, but also was the fear like, why do you think it's going to be different this time? Like, it's your second marriage. Who are you kidding? Right? So that is part of my story. But I didn't start coaching after that marriage went down. The marriage went down as a result of my deep mental breakdown. When I was at the edge of doing something undoable. And it was only the thought of my children that kept me going. And in the darkest hour of my life, I made that decision that not only am I going to live, but I'm going to live my way from now on. Because if I am to live, if I am not to do this thing that I was contemplating of doing, then I want this life to be mine. And I'm just tired of pretending. I'm tired of wondering what people are going to say. I'm tired of questioning if I'm good enough to live life my way, to love my way, to choose what I believe is best for me. And that was a difficult decision because 3 little people were involved in that, right? Lives of 3 humans and more, like the family and all that. But I did that. And even more so, I not only took the children to a different country, everything went well. They have great contact with their dad. But I also changed profession for the first time. And I went from being a veterinarian to being a lifestyle photographer and stylist, working with the best interior brands and not only. And why women? Women I was meeting women, making new connections, making new friends, and more or less all women that would hear a little bit of that story would say either, that is just amazing, I cannot believe what you have gone through, I could never do that, had that been me. And the other group were the women who said, I am in a similar situation. I am in a relationship that is not serving me. I am in a job that I hate. I am I am doing everyday things that are not aligned with what I believe is better for me. But somehow I just cannot change that because I have studied for X number of years and now, starting my own business, doing something completely different. It's like, it's crazy. I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, I cannot teach people how to, how to feng shui their houses.
Yeah, got your point.
And that was just so sad for me to hear. And yet I understood that so well because that was me.
Yeah.
And then I decided this, if anything of what I've been through, if anything good can come out of it, I don't want to keep on taking beautiful pictures of beautiful things because as much as I love beautiful things, many other people can do that. I want to use my experience and combine it with brain science, subconscious reprogramming, and energy work that I have trained myself to do so that I can help those women to get out of their own ways, start their businesses after leaving corporate, and do whatever they want, leave the relationships that are not serving them, but maybe also have the courage to enter a relationship after their heart got broken. So this is why I asked you how much time you had.
Always there for good stories. There's no time limit. So Kasia, your story is because you reached a point where you couldn't take it anymore. That was one. Secondly, you also had the courage, because courage is very important. So I see two things that, made you, whenever you felt, okay, this is not the right place or the situation or where I want to be, you pull yourself out. So I know many of my, a few of my friends, known people who are stuck in either a relationship or a marriage. So, and it is just namesake, what, like how you said, what would people say? I have sons and daughters who are, I can't leave because the child suffers. And so many of these, I wouldn't call them excuse, they're genuine reasons. But I mean, how, because they sometimes come to me and I don't have a solution, because one is I'm not married, so I cannot relate to the other side of life, so there are so many of these people who reach out to me. And so on their behalf, I'm just putting this question to you, like, what are they supposed to do? Because like I said, whatever their reasons, I won't call them excuses, they are genuine reasons. But what could be that thing that is not either triggering them to move out or just keeping them stuck? And these are people who have been not just for a year but years, minimum 5 years, just a minimum. If I take an average of people who have been talking to me, it will be easily somewhere around 7 years, 10 years. So they are stuck in their relationships, marriages for this long, and they're not getting out of it. And still today also, if you see the situation, they're still there. So what is that thing that, I mean, as a coach from your end, what would you advise them?
Oh, it's a huge question, like, and it would be like from person to person, there are so many nuances and things, but generally, and this is a hard pill to swallow for many, and that is that whatever you have in your life, you have agreed to this at some point, this way or the other. And people who are keeping themselves in uncomfortable situations, unhappy situations, marriages, for instance, they are agreeing to that repeatedly. Okay? They are agreeing by staying there. So first, that would be, and take the responsibility. Stop focusing on the circumstances, because when we focus on circumstances, we repeat the circumstances. There is no other way. If you start your journey to change by explaining to me why it's difficult for you, why it's going to be difficult for you to do that, then it's all backwards. Because it's not about the circumstances. It's about what you tell yourself about the circumstances and what are you willing to take responsibility for that you haven't been taking responsibility for so far. This is why I often say I love working with women who are ready to change. Because one thing is a woman who is unhappy in her relationship, and you can do whatever, like you can stand on your head and you can do what, like you cannot help her if she's not ready. Okay. But if she's ready, if she comes to you and says, I am just so done, I just don't know what to do. Well, first of all, if she realizes that she's been creating that circumstance by her own choices, take responsibility in that, then it's good to know what you want. Because people are great at explaining what it is that they hate and what it is that they don't want and what it is that makes them unhappy. But when you know that, right? When you ask someone, what do you want? You usually say, I don't want to be unhappy. Okay. What do you want? So, and when they know what they want, then it's the second part. And it's something that I love, that is my jam, but it requires some work. It's not, I always say that it's not like working in the mine, so not that hard, but you have to ask yourself, what if I, for instance, want to leave my husband? Okay. I'm ready. I feel like thinking about it. I think I'm ready. And I want to create a better life for myself, for me and my kids. What beliefs do I have around divorce? What beliefs do I have about families that split? What beliefs do I have about children from divorced families? What beliefs do I have about life after divorce? What beliefs do I have about being judged by my family and friends? What religious beliefs do I have that might make it difficult for me to make that decision, even though I am burning for it? I'm still like, it's an anchor. Because the thing is, what you want, your willpower and your actions are on the superficial level. But everything else, your beliefs, your habits, also habitual thinking, how you think about yourself and life, all that, it's under the water. It is in your subconscious. So you can consciously say that I want to leave that marriage, but your subconscious is going to be blocking you because it's going to be coming with all the beliefs that you hold that make it so darn hard that at the end of the day, you quit. Like you say, okay, I'm going to stay unhappy. The thing is that these beliefs are not true. You make them true because you believe them, so they rule your life. But the fact is, they're not true. And the way I know it is because if they were true, that every person in the entire universe would be thinking the same, right? So if there are people that think differently and are therefore able to change their lives significantly and be happy and divorce in a way that is good. And I mean, divorce is never good per se. It's not a good experience. I don't wish that to anyone. All right. And I've gone through two. And I know that they can be very different divorces. But if you realize there are people who get divorced and they are able to do it with dignity, and they're able to do it with respect to themselves, and they're able to do it in a way that kids have great life. And that gives them a chance to have a life too, because I don't believe that when you become a mother, then you are just doomed to do everything for your kids. I said I would give life for my kids, but they are separate humans. They have their lives and I have mine. And I'm supposed to do the best with my life that I can. So staying in a relationship that is not serving me is not serving my children either. And I'm saying it from a place of total understanding and compassion because I was there. So no judgment.
Kasi, you were mentioning about the beliefs that we have, that women have around divorce or, you know, bringing up a child without the father and all those kind of beliefs.
Yeah.
Now you also work in the subconscious programming. So can you just give one tiny example for anybody who's listening, you know, if this example changes their life or they get something out of this discussion. So let's say, what after divorce, or how would people see me that I am divorced? You know, that's a belief. And that is creating so many other situations around you. So if we just have to go to our subconscious mind and change the programming. So you are the expert. You can take it from here.
Yeah, well, there are several ways in which you can do that. You can either take a route and learn all this by yourself and start using the tools, or you can get help. Subconscious reprogramming essentially is, for subconscious reprogramming, you do need a guide, someone who will help you, unless you want to put time, effort, money into learning this yourself. But what I do, the way I work as NLP, a practitioner, as hypnotherapist, you see, hypnotherapy or hypnosis, should I say, is not what so many people think. People think often that this is this crazy thing that it's going to make me bark like a dog, right? Because this is what they have seen on television. But what you see on television is stage hypnosis. It has nothing to do with what hypnotherapists do. Because as hypnotherapists, what we do is we take your conscious thinking brain and we sort of allow it to get at ease and slow down and calm down so that we can talk and communicate with your subconscious mind. Because this is what I say, you might believe that you want to get this divorce, you want to leave that relationship, or you want to start that business, whatever your belief, like what you think you want. And then there is this belief that you have that you're too old, or it's too silly, or it's going to be difficult, or people are going to judge you, or that it's going to mean that you're a horrible mother, or that you're going to waste like 10 years of your education, whatever. And I can convince you for hours that it's not that hard as you think. But if you believe that it's hard, that it's going to be devastating for your children, that it's going to make people laugh at you, then you're not going to do it. Or chances are very like slim that you're going to do it. And most people just give up. But if I can take your conscious brain, like can let it sort of ease down. And when your subconscious mind opens, and this is where you have all your beliefs, all your memories, everything that you were taught since you were a little girl about the relationships and what is the real family and what is a good partner, what is a bad partner, what is pretty, what is ugly, what is good, what is bad. But this is not really aligned with what you want to do, because you were taught as a child that you must never leave your husband. And now you want to do this. So if I can talk to your subconscious mind and make it understand that there are different ways in which a woman can be happy, that you can choose how you want to live. You're going to have to choose the path. You can choose the path and the consequences, and that it does not have to, it can be easy, that it can be done, that you are important, that your children are important enough, for instance, to be brought up in a house that is loving, that you're gonna be all right, or that if it's career, that, you know, it's not about the years that you spent learning this to be a lawyer, studying, or to be a doctor, or to whatever you are. It's not about those years that you spend learning. It's about those years that you spend being unhappy doing it. Being that lawyer when you want to do something else. You want to go into energy healing. You want to, I don't know, start writing books for kids, or I don't know what you want. I do believe that we have our dreams for a reason. I do believe that many of the big dreams and visions we have, this is simple. The universe wants to manifest itself through us and do something good. And if we can just help ourselves to get out of our own way, we will so soon realize that everything falls into place. You see, the easiest way to explain the subconscious also work is, everybody knows we just experienced another new year not that long ago, and like those New Year's resolutions, like this year I'm going to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
And by mid-February, everybody, like 9 out of 10 people are back to even more to where they were. Why? Because willpower is over the surface. It's the piece of iceberg that you can see. Willpower and your actions, everything that you do. So in the beginning of the year, you decide, I'm going to do this, I'm going to train, I'm going to eat healthy, and it's going to be fine. Problem is, the beliefs under the surface are that diets suck, that you cannot do it anyway, that you have always yo-yoed, and you know that your mother has always yo-yoed, and your aunt, and actually all of your cousins. So actually it's impossible to stick to a diet. Also, you believe that it's going to completely like change your social life, because you cannot really go and visit friends, because it's not going to be fun to have to, say no to things. And then you don't really like exercises so much. So it's going to be like a struggle all the time. So the first week, you stick with your willpower to your resolution. Second week, you give in maybe once or twice because I was so good. Week number 1, everything was going great. I was pushing so hard. And now I can just, give myself a little tap on the back and have a slice of pizza. And by the week 3 to 5, you're back to where you were. Why? Because you believe that it's going to be so hard, it's going to be struggle, that you're not going to make it anyways. And I'm going to ask you, what do you think when you look at a lady that obviously has been active, I wouldn't say training, but active, physically active for years, that is eating healthy, has a glowing skin, nice nails, shiny, and is full of life? What do you think she believes about being fit, staying on a diet, or exercising?
No, I don't think she believes on a diet. It's just she believes in working out, and it's routine. It's a daily practice for her now. So
do you think she finds it hard?
Of course, it's hard, but she still, because it is, when you keep doing it repeatedly, it becomes like your second habit. So am I somewhere close to the answer?
Habits are subconscious. Yeah.
Okay. So it's non-negotiable for them. And your body gets also tuned to it. Now the body needs it more than...
And this is why she doesn't find it hard. Of course, there are days but it's not a struggle. It's a choice. She believes that this is how her body functions best. She believes that she's worthy of it. She doesn't believe that she's going to ruin her social life. She believes that her skin is going to be glowing, right? Because she eats a lot of veggies, and she just, takes care of her water and stuff like this. She doesn't see it like a struggle.
So whatever her goal is in her mind, let's say a glowing skin or a fit body. So she has a goal in her mind, and these small things in the middle, which are obstacles or can cause her not to continue doing it, doesn't bother her.
Even more so, she doesn't have the vision. She is this in her mind. She is that woman. And when we become on an identity level, when we start identifying ourselves with the person that we want to become, then making choices that will support us on the journey is a no-brainer. If you, as a woman in an unhappy relationship, can start seeing yourself deeply as an happy, divorced mama that is creating her life in a new way and is able to go past any social pressure or any sort of that, and is happily building her new life, if you can become her, start thinking like her before going after the divorce, then going after divorce is going to be like, it's not going to be hard. I don't believe in hard anymore. This is why I do this. I want my life to be easy. And your life becomes so much easier when you get your subconscious beliefs in place. In other words, when you get your subconscious mind to play on your team.
Coming back to your story, Kasia, now you say that you're happily married, you found your soulmate. So correct me if I'm wrong. So I mean, there's so much hype about the soulmate thing, which I don't believe in as much. So I think let me take my example. So I feel like I am more ready for a guy or a man in my life now, because I had certain beliefs and programs in my mind which made me attract the there's no right and wrong, but still let me call them the wrong men in my life. So at some point of time I would attract only the wrong men in my life, and that kept going. And when I paused and checked my story, like what's happening and why am I attracting this particular kind of men, and I did an exercise, I wrote down, and what I figured out was, I had these kind of beliefs that men are not trustworthy, all men are not good, men have the tendency to leave you, and those kind of thoughts. And I equally matched those thoughts and attracted men who were in the same frequency or in that vibration, and I exactly met these kind of men. So now I went back and did the exercise of always, whenever I have that kind of a negative belief, I'm going to just erase it off, just say cancel or whatever, and then put a positive thing in my mind. And I also started doing so many exercises and priming and affirmations, and and I also am into energy healing, so I did a lot of these energy cleansing. So now I feel I'm at a stage where I do not, at least I mean, I don't know how much I can attract a good men at least now, but at least I don't see those kind of men getting attracted to me. So from your experience, have I been doing the right things, or am I on track?
Has it worked? You say it works, right?
Yes. So at least from that point, I have stopped attracting that kind of men in my life. I do not have to answer to these kind of calls or anything. At least that part is gone. So now the rest is attracting the right guy to my life. So somewhere now I have this, when you very deeply attach to your emotions, then the feeling is even more stronger. So somewhere I feel like now I am ready for meeting the man in my life.
Well, I think if you say that this pattern has sort of stopped the wrong guys coming into your orbit, then of course it's a sign that it's working. The thing that you mentioned is very interesting. All these thoughts that we tell ourselves. Average, like a human being, a grown-up human being, we have between 60 to 70,000 thoughts every single day.
Right.
Your brain goes through 60 to 70,000 thoughts.
Crazy.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, 90% to 95%, some say, of these thoughts are repetitive, and 80% of those thoughts are negative. I also love brain science. It's one of the things that is incorporated in what I do. So understanding that a little bit, just your brain, it can be actually really fascinating. So it is very important that we know about the thoughts, that thoughts are not facts. Actually, when you just, if you can, from this entire episode, anybody who's listening to us, remember one thing that has a potential of changing their life is this: thoughts are not facts. Because if they were, then everybody else in the world would be thinking same thoughts. It would be a known fact. If I say that you are 156 centimeter tall, it's a fact. But if I'm going to say that you're short or tall, it's a thought. It's an interpretation, because it depends who's, like, to a little girl, you're going to be tall, right? If you go to Holland, When people are tall, you're going to be short. So keeping that in mind, when you said to yourself, like, men are not trustworthy. Is this true? No. Is there not really even a single man that is trustworthy?
There are so many.
Right? So many. So how is this thought helping you if you want to find a good man? No, it's not. Because as you know, one of the 12 universal laws, which is the law of attraction, says that you attract this with which you equally vibrate. Right? So if your thoughts, which are vibration, are vibrating around the fear that you're going to attract another pig rather than an amazing partner, then guess what's going to happen? Chances are that the first thing, like someone who is just matching the frequency of your vibration.
Yeah.
Right? Because the thing about thoughts, it's so important. Thoughts are not facts. Because this is important to understand, because your thoughts create your feelings, and your feelings transform to vibration of your being. So because of the thought, your entire body, your entire being is vibrating at the frequency of fear, of mistrust, of despair, of lacking the partner. And then anybody's going to be good, right? Then the universe says, like, anybody's good, right? But if you can get yourself to imagine the perfect guy that you could, like, possibly have, the most perfect for you, like nobody's perfect, but the perfect guy for you, and can hold that picture and open up, and then disregard all thoughts that are not supporting that. As you said, erase. Like, this is not true. It's not a fact. Then you're good to go.
Closer to your goal.
Yeah. And then do inspired action and inspire. This is like, so many people hype about law of attraction, and I just look left and right, and it's coming from all over the place, but so few people get it really right.
True.
And it's not about humming, I don't know what, affirmations all day sitting on a bed. It's not about forcing. And it's not that it works. Sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. Like, try to switch off gravity. Good luck. It's a law. It's physics. It cannot not work work sometimes. So inspired action would be like, what can I do right now to show that I trust that this guy is on his way? Like, what would be the easiest thing for me to do? And it's not about doing the right thing to meet him, because universe has its way, which are so much better than you can come up with. Just enough that you have trust that it is done, it's happening, it's on its way. You just have to keep the vibration of that what you want, and everything's gonna follow. And also, don't be like this kid at the back of the seat. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Right? Because if you trust that if you order something with FedEx or from Amazon Prime, you're not going to call them every 3 minutes, ask them, have you wrapped my package? Have you sent it already? Like, what color is the car that it's, because I'm standing at the window and I just cannot see you. You know it's coming. So just breathe and be happy.
A question on mindset, like, to be tough, to have the courage to, pick up from the darkest phase of your life. Mindset is very important, a rough and tough mindset. So do you also believe in keeping a mindset of that sort, or is there any other practice that keeps you going or pulls you up whenever you go down? So, it could be practices like, for me, meditation helps whenever I feel I'm very down or I'm sulking. Meditation just brings me back to my zone. So for you, what is that practice that, brings you back to your zone or to your space?
Yeah, for me, that would be self-hypnosis, which is simply guiding my mind to a very open space, like a place where I can simply feed it with with what I want to believe and what I want to create, and aligning myself with that. I do believe right now in ease more than anything, so much so that the method that I use in my programs and coaching is the ease method. It's called the ease method. And so I don't believe that it's like before I learned that, I was doing things the hard way. I can say some of the things, not all. I can say I was lucky enough to push through to get me to a point where I started learning all this.
Okay.
But I also know from the experience of my beautiful clients that usually we give up way too soon, way just before the breakthrough. And when they come to me, the funny thing with this subconscious reprogramming is that it is not like it's not about expecting angels come from the sky and, do something like fireworks and all that. I remember this is like a client that was having issues and arguments with her husband for over 2 decades. All right. They were snapping at each other. She was so tired of it. And yet it was something they would just do every day. She didn't like it. She has repeatedly asked him not to do that. She has asked herself not to do that. And somehow she couldn't get of that pattern. They couldn't. And we started working together. And after very few, I guess it was after the 3rd or 4th hypnotherapy sessions, and I'm doing the recordings, I'm working online. So after listening through the audio 3rd or 4th time, she came to our session, and she said, Kasia, something incredible happened. I don't know how to explain this, but today was the day like every day. And he said something to me, and I opened my mouth and I thought like to snap back. And I said nice thing to him. And I couldn't even, like, my mind was not, my conscious mind was not even following that. And I just think like, what the hell did I just say? I thought to myself, what did I just say? I mean, this is not like me. But somehow I just believed that there is a better way to respond. And he looked at me and he started laughing, like genuinely, right? Like, and our conversation changed. And I just cannot wait to see how this is going to evolve, because I'm finding that there is a better way to do things, but not because I think that there's a better way, but because I am a better way. I have a better way inside me. So that is it. So it doesn't have to be hard. It can absolutely be easy. And I want to say this to everybody listening. If you want to change anything in your life, figure out how you can make it easy. If you can make it better, figure out how you can make it easy. If you want to build a business, how you can make it easy. How can you make your brain work for you, not against you? Because if you're going to be thinking that, there are so many online entrepreneurs, we have to be visible. But if you think at the back of your head that going live and making another TikTok is going to be is stressful, that you're not good with technology, that you are too old for that, or whatever, then, I mean, how is it helping?
So this is your trademark? That's your own signature program, or what is?
The Magnetic Confidence Academy. This is a special program. It's it's 11 weeks, not even 3 months program for women who are ready, absolutely ready to change. Not who are, thinking that, it could be good, but women who are in a place where they think, shit, I'm like, enough is enough, right? Nothing changes if nothing changes. I might not know how, because I'm there for how. I'm there for the how. I might not know how. I might not have all the knowledge, but I want to find out. And I'm willing to figure that out. And they do believe that the joining principles of brain science subconscious reprogramming and energy work that I use inside of the program are going to help them create that change in an easy way, right? So that is it. And other than just one more thing, because I went on a tangent a little bit, but another thing other than self-hypnosis, how I ground myself, it is going into silence.
Silence. Okay.
Silencing the mind, simply, even if it's just for 15 minutes a day.
You mentioned about your program. I also asked if you are working on, if you have interest in different projects, like, several people have projects related to helping animals or, something of that sort. So other than what you do as your Whole and Soul coaching program, are there any projects that you're working on? And probably if you are working on something interesting, you can tell my audience and they can connect with you.
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I don't know if you can call it a project. It's a very personal project. We have sort of adopted family from a poor region of the country and helping them go through every day so that is it. Simply finding someone, a particular family. I just making. I have not mentioned that anywhere. So
it's a nice way to tell.
It kind of caught me off guard. I do believe in helping, in dedicated help, particular person, particular topic. I also believe in collectiveness. We recently, Ukraine is our neighbor country. So when the war started last year, we sent a lot of help collectively to our Ukrainian neighbors. But that, and as for animals, through 11 years of my work as a veterinarian, I think I have I've done a lot of things, and I'm looking back with gratitude on those years, a lot of gratitude. Now I have my own 2 dogs, or our 2 dogs. So that's.
So for most of my friends who have come to the show, so I asked them about success, what success means to them. So since we are in this episode, we have got a little into the personal side of the story. So I don't want to ask success. I want to ask, what does happiness mean to you, or what is happiness for you?
I think success and happiness could actually be equal in that manner. It's simply waking every morning, and I said this already, and loving your life.
Right.
Like being in the moment, and life is not perfect, and it's not supposed to be, but knowing at any time, whatever happens, that you are where you're supposed to be and you're living your life authentically, that you are not afraid to share your opinion, that you are not afraid to create boundaries. You love your boundaries. You love yourself. You love the person who you're becoming. You love your family. You are loved. That is happiness.
So it's very beautiful. I mean, through the challenges, the struggle you came up with, and with that, you've at least found a reason or some purpose in your life, and you're helping women who are in similar situations so that you can pull them out, or at least help them improve their lives. So I think what you're doing is unique, and especially when you have categorized that you want to help, a certain women in a certain category, or let's say in a certain phase of life. So that's very beautifully done. And I'm sure I have many people who know me and who've been following me, and they have had so many of these kind of issues. And when they listen to this episode, maybe they would want to connect with you and, take it forward from there. So for my listeners, if they want to connect to you, where are you most available at? Which social platform do you use the max?
I must say, it's definitely Instagram. And it's Pivot to Happiness. When I was figuring out what to call my business, this is what came to mind.
Okay.
Because if you want to pivot in your life, That means change anything. And then that's it. Pivot to happiness. And it's so funny that you asked me about happiness, what happiness is, because happiness is different things for different people. Right?
Yeah.
And something that you just said to me, like, people ask, like, what is most important hat? Like your favorite hat, your happy hat, so to speak.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to choose different things. I'm at a place where I believe I don't want to choose, but most people will choose. And if you can pivot towards this and do more of that and do it in a way that is easy and that is making you wake up every morning with a smile on your face, well, what can you ask for more? So pivot to happiness on Instagram, and then there you can find me.
Perfect. And one important question I missed out was, how do you want to be remembered as, or what is the legacy you want to leave behind?
If we're talking like a big dream, bringing more light to people.
And so in this entire conversation, I had asked all that I wanted to ask, but if there is something that I missed asking that was very important and you want to share with my audience, then please feel free to do so.
Well, we've touched on many things. I just want everybody who hears that, every person, but especially women, it's not only for women, but especially ladies, that you can be, do, and have absolutely anything you want. Well, if you're going to say that you want to go to the moon tomorrow, that might be difficult. But apart from some very few things, if you want to be a successful business owner, but you have no business experience or no business education or no business background, or nobody in your family have ever had a successful business, or people in your family believe that business is shit because they had many unsuccessful businesses, then you can still create the most amazing business you could possibly imagine. That you can create anything you want as long as you find a way to believe that it is possible. Believe at the core of your being. This is what I said. See yourself successful. See yourself wealthy. See yourself with abundance. See yourself as a happy woman, whether it's with a partner or without, with or without children, having this or that business, with employees or without, generating 100,000 or 7 figures. It doesn't matter. Whatever makes you happy, you can have this. And as Henry Ford said, whether you believe that you can or you can't, you're right. That's it.
Yeah. Thank you. That was your closing speech, and it was very powerful. It was one of those JFKs or one of those big enlightening speeches. It was like that. So for all, it's for everyone, but especially for entrepreneurs and ladies, I think it will connect to them more. So I think you can pick it up from here. And for anybody who wants to connect to Cassia, I would, she has mentioned her Instagram handle. I'll also be putting them down in the description. So do connect to her. And me and Cassia will be in touch, and we will see if we can do another episode on some other topic, maybe in the future. We don't know what. But yeah, we'll stay connected. And for all my audience, you know where to reach out to Cassia. So till we meet again, thanks so much for watching and listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.